Okay, so for the review for the week, let's take a look at questions 33 through 40. Okay, so starting number 33, we started by evaluating a simple function. I give you guys a function f, and I want you to find f of 2. Now, f of 2, basically, I'm going to use the function given. Notice how inside of the parentheses, I have x to begin with, f of x, and then I want you guys to find f of 2. So the value of x is 2. The variable in this case is x, and I'm going to use it with x being 2. The variable is not always x, right? It could be any letter that I want. So f of 2 is basically 2 to the third plus 3. Order operations have to do exponents first. Now 2 to the third is 8, right? Imagine 2 multiplied by itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2. Many people think that 2 to the third is 6, but that's 2 times 3, not 2 to the third. So be careful on that. Now, I have 8 plus 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. So my answer here will be 11. Let's take a look at question number 34. The function k, the variable is x, and I want you to find k of negative 10. So basically, replace the value of x with a negative 10. So I have 4 times a negative 10 minus 3. Okay, so that gives me negative 40 minus 3, better known as a negative 43. Then we also looked at graphs. Let's take a look at number 35. The graph is given, but I want you to solve for f of 2. So I look at my x-axis, and I look for 2. I want to find the point where this x of 2 crosses my graph. So I see it crosses right here. The coordinates of that point are 2, negative 6. When I ask you for f of 2 and I give you guys a graph, I want to know basically what's the y value when x equals 2. So that's why I found a point. X is 2, right? So I want to know what's the y value. In this case, I'm going to say negative 6. Same thing for question number 36. Now here I want you to solve for f of negative 1. So my x-axis, I'm going to find negative 1, and I see this point right here has the x value of negative 1. If I look at the coordinates of that point are negative 1, negative 4. By asking what's f of negative 1, basically I want to know what's the y value. But what's the y value of the point that has a negative 1 for the x value? So in this case, my answer will be negative 4. Then we also move to operations, right? On Tuesday, we did operations. So let's take a look at number 37. I'm doing plus sign, right? Let's emphasize that. So I have to do g plus h of 6. So I need to find out what's g of 6, because I'm going to add it to h of 6. Let me find out what each of those are. So g of 6, I'm looking at the function g. G of 6 is going to be 3 times 6 minus 2, or 18 minus 2, better known as 16. I also need to find out what's h of 6. I'm looking at the function h. The variable is 6, so I have 6 squared minus 4. I know 6 squared is 36. Now 36 minus 4 is 32. So what I'm asking when I said g plus h of 6, is basically g of 6 plus h of 6, or 16 plus 32, because I found out what each of them are. Now 16 plus 32 is 48. The operation in this case was plus, but it could be minus, times, divide, it could be anything. Let's take a look at question number 38. The operation in this case is a dot, so that means times. So I'm gonna go g of 1 times h of 1. So I need to find out what g of 1 and h of 1 are. So let's take a look. G of 1, that is basically 1 to the third plus 5. I know 1 to the third is 1, right? 1 times 1 times 1, right? So it's 1. Now 1 plus 5 is 6. So g of 1 is 6. Now let me find out what's h of 1. I have 4 times 1 minus 1, or 4 minus 1, better known as 3. So now here I have 6 times 3, better known as 18. When we do fraction, that's division. Now notice for multiplication was a dot, looking at number 38. Because on Thursday, so yesterday, we were talking about composite functions. Now that inside, that in between the f and the g, that's not a dot. So this is not multiplication. This is composite function. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm gonna find out what g of 0 is first. I'm going to do g instead of f first because g is the one closer to 0. So I have to find out what g of 0 is. So here at the side, let me find out g of 0. So I'm using the function g. The variable is 0. So this is 0 squared plus 4. Notice the variable is not always x, right? In this case, the variable is n. The way I know which one's the variable is the letter in between the parentheses. So I have 0 squared plus 4. I know 0 squared is 0. So I have 0 plus 4, better known as 4. So g of 0 simplified to 4. The letter outside here is f, so now I'm going to do f of 4. Using the function f now, f of 4 is 4 minus 2, better known as 2. So notice I did g of 0, which gave me 4, and then I did f of my 4. Let's take a look at another composite function. I only give you guys f because I'm going to use the function f twice. First of all, let me find out what's f of negative 1. All right, so f of negative 1 is 4 times a negative 1 minus 4. So I have negative 4 minus 4, which is negative 8. So f of negative 1 is negative 8. And I'm going to do this of f. I'm going to do f again because there's the f on the outside. All right, so f of negative 8, that is 4 times a negative 8 minus 4. Or negative 32 minus 4, which is negative 36. All right, you guys should be good. Tomorrow we have a quiz. Next week we have a test. Remember, a test is the one that covers the whole unit. So let me zoom out. You guys should be good for the quiz tomorrow.